Heck yeah.
Well, hello.
We made
Welcome
it.
back. We
We
did
made
it.
it. It's always a question mark.
Well, the thing is about you and I's lives right now, dear audience, dear friends out there, life be crazy for both of us,
Life
and
be lifin'.
life be lifing, and that we show up here anywhere every week consistently is
I
impressive.
chose I chose my keep calm and carry on mug specifically for today.
I love that. I think that's perfection.
Mhm.
Considering the amount of times I've shed some tears in the last 7 days, I think that's
Mm,
good. That's
yeah.
great. Yeah. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tara,
I'm Natalie.
and we're making a movie. This is a podcast about us making our very first feature film. The film is called Turns Out.
Turns out it's the
It's
apocalypse we think. It's got a long name
Oh,
now.
that's true. That's true.
As of now, it is officially called Turns Out It's the Apocalypse We Think.
I forgot.
We refer to it lovingly as Turns Out because that is
Turns Out.
where we started. But it has officially name changed.
Yeah,
And
officially, this is officially the new title. Yeah, we like to shorten everything down. We call this podcast Wham, just so all of you know.
wham.
Wham, which isn't actually the acronym, which is funny because there's a joke about acronyms in the script. But
I
I
never thought of that.
when I started calling it Wham, I was like thinking about the Scrabble scene,
Uh-huh.
not the Scrabble scene, the category scene where we talk about what acronyms and backronyms and
Uh-huh.
I gave you shutafa, which is for shift, which is when shit happens.
When shit
Anyways,
hits the
so
fan.
shit hits the fan. Thank you. I couldn't think of it fast enough.
Hmm.
Anyways, so I thought it was really fun that we call this Wham. Welcome to our podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about the movie making experience, the filmmaking experience through the lens of us making our first feature film. So we're following
Hmm.
along in real time with the storyline of what we're doing.
Hmm.
Right now we are so knee deep in development slash funding and whatnot.
Hmm.
We're kind of wrapping out of the big conversation of funding, and we're heading into a new category next week. But we wanted to stop for a moment
Hmm.
and talk about some other things that are really important when it comes to funding, knowing how much money you need, and how do you get to that freaking number.
Yeah, yeah. It's there are a lot of components when it comes to like funding your, I mean, for your budget. When it comes to like what is my budget and how much money do I need? And two of those biggest ones are how much time it's going to take to film and the locations. And we're going to touch on those today, but we'll touch on the location part later on in the podcast today. But on the front end of this, how do you figure out those things? How do you figure out how many days you're going to need to shoot, how many
Mhm.
days you'll need actors for, how many days you'll need on each location? Like, how do you figure that out?
Yeah. In smaller projects, you can just like spitball this in your brain. Like when you're doing a short film, you're like, I need a house. It sounds so easy. But when you get a big beast like a feature film, you got to rely on some kind of an organizational system. And what the industry has come up with over the last 100+ years of making movies is stripboarding. Stripboarding is this. I have fallen in love with stripboarding over the last 5 years of becoming a producer. Like, I just love organizing information. And what these stripboards do is help you figure out how many days you need, what kind of locations, and other key marker things. So the actual great definition that I got off of not WebMD. I want to say WebMD, and that's not it.
WebMD says it's cancer. No,
Stripboards are cancer.
Surfers is cancer. Was it Studio Binder?
Not Studio Binder, but the other. What's
It's
a
all
Studio
Studio
Binder?
Binder.
It's
It's
all
all
Studio
Studio
Binder.
Binder.
I know. What's the other one where everyone puts in the information and like it's a crowdsourcing information place, so we don't always trust
Wikipedia?
Wikipedia. I went to
Oh,
Wikipedia.
Sorry.
Wikipedia. We are available to hire for your commercial Wikipedia. So this There's a couple different words for strip boarding. Production boarding, strip boarding, production strip is a filmmaking term for a chart displaying color-coded strips of paper, each containing the information about a scene in the film's shooting script. The strips can be arranged and laid out sequentially to represent the order one wants to film it in, providing a schedule that can be used to plan the production. So reason that we do this is because we do not shoot in sequential order. We shoot out of order, and we pair things together based on talent and location a lot of the times, or other variables that would make it easier to do all things in one day. So if you had like a really big special effects makeup thing, like a swamp monster, shooting out that swamp monster in as many grouped days as possible is better because you can condense that time.
You're going to compartmentalize. You're going to, if you have a big actor on scene that you're going to be paying the big bucks. So actors in a lot of things get paid by the day, not by the hour. So if you've got them and you're going to pay them for 3 days, you want to get all of their stuff in for that day, even if they just show up. I mean, background actors are the same way. Like there's a lot of the industry is paying people by the day. You don't pay them by the hour. So if you can get them out of there in the fewest number of days, that means maybe they're in the open, Big Lebowski, the dude, not the dude, the stranger.
Yes.
I guarantee you that, well, I can't guarantee that, but I would be willing to bet that they had those 2 days back to back, because those are the days that they had the stranger. And then he recorded his stuff in studio. They did not have him come. They might have filmed those on the same day. Ideally, you're filming them both on the same day if you can do it. You know, it just depends on location, moves and stuff like that. But that is what you're doing with strip boarding.
It's it's amazing, and typically you use this really heavily once you get into full-blown production scheduling. What we're doing right now with the strip board is a different kind of, like, a little bit of a watered down strip board, and it's going to help us figure out things like how many locations do we need. And for us, luckily, it's not very many, but we still want to know, like, oh wait, in our mind the house is one place, but the house also has a garage, a backyard, and under the house, like, there's all these parts of houses that are actually different locations when you really look at it, that we could shoot the under the house at a different house entirely, or the exterior of the house different from the interior of the house. So figuring out those different places, those exterior, interior, is important, because it gets that house becomes 5 locations.
Well, and you will film all of your exteriors at the same time. So if you're going in and out of the house throughout your script, you're probably going to shoot all of your exteriors at the same time, you know, in the same couple days. And then you'll do all of your interior stuff. And then you try to keep those in order. Like, you do try to go sequentially if you can there, but you might go out of order because you need to shoot, you know, there's another actor involved, or big special effects makeup or something like that.
Right, which leads me to red flags. Major big red flags with filming stuff. So, like, we've got possums. We got to board up some windows. We got an empty street. There are these big things that, like, we're writing it and we've thought about it, but now that we're in the actual, we're going to film it, like, red flagging that, like, hey, there's a possum. We got to figure that money out. We got to figure out that that's a person, that's a wrangler, or is that an insert? Boards on the windows became one for me. I was like, oh, we got to board up some windows. So the location we pick, we got to figure out how not to ruin their walls trying to board up windows. Red flagging for crews, like, if you've got background, which we don't have to deal with, but if you've got background, you have a big day where you have lots of people and you might need a second AD to wrangle those people. Like, red flagging, like, big crowd scenes like that. Red flagging, like, wardrobe and makeup. We did a short film called Social Anxiety, and Natalie spearheaded this, like, the wardrobe and makeup, because we had to film it out of order, but knowing how to group it to get it all into one day. And then also red flagging that we needed a party scene, and to make that party scene look right, a costumed Halloween costume party scene, in order to make that Halloween costume party scene actually be effective on screen, you had to have background for that, and they had to all be dressed up in party costumes. That was the only way to make that scene work.
And so in that regard, like, you have those strips. I mean, so I'm going to sidebar really quick. So the strip board, the reason that these are called strip boards was way back, they used to actually cut out these strips that were the headlines of, I mean, the interior day whatever,
Yeah.
bedroom, whatever. And they would cut those out and then physically group them together. We are so much luckier now.
Oh
We don't
God.
have to do
Oh, thank
that. There's
goodness.
computer systems that do that for
Yeah.
you. Um,
I love the photos of people arranging the strip boards on a board. It's really kind of fun. It's
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing that, like you'll have the ones that you will then put a pin in and go, wait,
Hmm.
I need all of my background actors in a different costume than they were, even though this one happens in the middle of this sequence. So instead of doing it in order, you're going to move that one to the end because you don't want them to have to change twice because that just adds time onto your day. So you will move that strip down.
Yeah. It's ingenious. And this is why this goes back to why when you write your shooting script, it's so important to have your scene titles done correctly
Hmm.
because we're going to take that information and collate it. And that's why structure of scripts matters because now those scene numbers, those scene headings, all are important because that's going to help us figure out what we're doing and how much it's going to cost us and how to make it happen.
Hmm.
Um, this also helps with the there's a spot in the strip, so you have a big long strip, and then you'll have the scene number at the left side of the strip. Then you'll have the title of the scene, or which is also like interior house day. Then you're going to have a spot where you have an actor. And that's going to tell you what actors are in the scene. So now you get to figure out, okay, I've got this many actors. That's a lot of actors. How many background people? And that gives you a head count for the day. So now you're like, okay, that's X amount of people I got to feed in addition to my usual crew, which
Hmm.
food money adds up quickly. Like that number goes up quickly. Filming time of day is also a big one. Like
Hmm.
knowing that when you and I were doing Imaginary Friends, we knew we had to get it all done during daylight hours for day one because we couldn't be golden. And well, it had to be golden for two scenes, but it couldn't be golden time. It couldn't be morning time. We had to shoot it
Hmm.
all out, the entire yogurt shop, the entire street scene, the patio stuff. Everything had to be during the day because we had these big windows we were dealing with. So we had to we couldn't drag in a bunch of lights because we weren't coded for that. So we had to figure that out. And so knowing, grouping all that time of day stuff together, because there was a coffee shop scene and a yogurt shop scene that were two different ends of the script, squunching it together and squunching it in the middle of the day before we did our closing scene with golden
Hmm.
hour time
I was
was,
just say in this little section is where I guess you could figure out if there are things you can shoot day for night.
yeah.
Like I mean
Oh,
that'll get into
absolutely.
location scouting more. Like we said, those
Hmm.
were windows that we couldn't light them the
Yeah.
right,
No, we
but
couldn't afford it.
can you shoot night for day? Can you shoot day for night?
Yeah.
Um, that'll be this will be helpful when you're figuring those things out. You're not going to figure that out right now, but this is where you start to ask those questions and you go, I've got way too many night shoots. We're going to be doing overnights all the time. You know, is there any of these that we can shoot day for night or night for day? Or is there any of these that we can change to be during the day? Can we
Yeah.
adjust the script? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the strip boards are like, at this point, they're not the gospel that they will become later on. They are just helping you take this giant 100-page document and collate it down into the key information that you need to get the ball rolling to make a schedule for yourself to figure out like, okay, we can shoot this sucker out in 14 days and I know it for a fact now because I put it on the strip board. Or oh, go ahead.
So I think what the audience might not everyone might know. So part of this on the strip board is telling you how much of a page is on
Oh,
like
thank
so
you.
those
Yeah.
locations, you give it a 3/4 of a page, a 1/8 of a page, or
Hmm.
whatever it is. That is huge when you're deciding how much time you're going to need in that location. I don't remember what the industry standard is like what you can expect, like depending on your size of your
Hmm.
budget. Like so I think there's some like if you get in the big budget, they're doing a page a day.
Right.
Like, I mean, that is like you can only shoot a page a day, and that's
Hmm.
doing coverage from every
Yeah.
direction, and it depends on your shooting style. However, I think we try to do 7 in a day. I think when you're down
Yeah.
to our budget size, you're like,
Yeah.
can we shoot 7 pages in a day?
Yeah.
That's not changing locations. That's not changing setups. That's
Yeah.
not, that
No
is
company
just
moves. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's why you do all of your living room scenes at the same time and you do all of the setups that are in this corner at the same time. And, so you do your two shots right now. You will switch scenes when you're doing that
Hmm.
mostly, but That is, so it's got like 3/4 of a page. I've seen 5/8 of a page. Like, you
Yeah.
got to get this one quick walk across this is side note. I always love when I'm watching a movie and there's like a big shot of like the lead actor walking across the lobby of
Uh-huh.
something. Cause I just think about that's not a stand in. That's not, they had to pay that man to walk across. They did this entire setup for him to walk across
Uh-huh.
this lobby. And how many times did they ask him to do it? I guarantee you it's not more than
Yeah.
two. Like, but that is 2 hours of your day on those productions, getting it all
Hmm.
right, getting all the
All
extras,
of
getting
those parts and pieces. Yeah.
to walk across.
To do a 1/8 of a page piece. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's wild. I was watching Fallout last night and there's a scene where she just walks up, she gets up and leaves a party scene and walks away. And I'm like, and I literally had that thought because I was in the middle of doing my homework for the episode. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, that's what they had to set up because no dialogue happens, nothing, just she walks, she just leaves. And
And you
like that's
can't,
a whole setup right there. That's a
and
whole chunk of
yeah,
a day.
you can't use a body double or anything
No.
like that in that situation. You're just like, wow,
Yeah.
that is an expensive freaking walk across
Yeah.
lobby. Like I
Yeah, and
can't
it had
imagine.
all the major players were in it, and you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
body double those major players. Like they just have such distinct
Mm.
faces, and you can clearly see them in the shot. So like you got to make sure you schedule 3 hours of that day. Everyone goes and sits down while everybody sets up the lights for that sucker because it was a wide shot. So you had to get
That'll
everybody
be
out.
that'll be the first thing that SAG allows to be AI.
Hmm.
That'll be the
I
first
guarantee you're
the
right.
first like
They'll
thing to
justify it.
go. Justify
Yeah,
go.
they'll
These are
justify
too
it. They're
expensive. These
gonna
are
they're expensive. No one's saying anything. Yeah, a
mm-hmm.
hundred
Mm-hmm.
percent. Which is that's a discussion for
That's
another
another
day.
discussion.
That's
Yeah.
another whole day of discussion. So anyway, so yeah, these strip boards are really important. They're really impactful. I'm going to show you in a minute our working strip board situation. Before I do, like really quickly, like how do you do this? Where do you do this? There are tons of sites now that are doing strip boarding. The industry standard up until recently has been Movie Magic. Movie Magic is this very old school is how I'm going to put it way a old school program. It operates very much like a word program, and it even looks like the 1990s when I log into it. Like it just has this like
Mm-hmm.
early 90s. I just logged into AOL look to it, and it is a beast because you have to enter in every piece of information yourself. I've logged in recently and it was still the same way. I don't know if they're updating the system yet, but it is, when I was making strip boards this way, it's a grind. It is
Mm-hmm.
mind numbing work. And sometimes you will hire somebody who is just like a baby producer looking for money to do this. And then they hand it off to the actual production. That's a whole job you could have done back in the day. It's just the
I
grind
was
of this.
I was just going to ask whose responsibility is strip boards?
So strip boarding in the traditional way is usually the first AD's department, the first AD
Okay.
or the line producer. It's one of those people that takes care of it. Uh,
So in development at this stage, because you need the strip boards, are
yeah,
they already on board then? Do you already have your first AD
yeah. The
often at this
line,
stage?
I actually,
Your
if
line
it's in this
producer
point,
then.
line producer. If you're
Okay.
at this point, it's the remember so you and I we got that first pass at a budget
Mm-hmm.
that was based. She did a basically a strip board for this to figure out
Okay.
how much that budget was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a job you can do. You could just be this person for the bigs, and like I've thought about it as a side hustle, like just being the person who
Yeah.
goes in and like inputs the information. Nowadays there are tons of sites that can do this for you. The one that we're using is Synapse. The other one that I talked to recently, oh gosh, I didn't write it down and now it's escaping my brain. Oh shoot, it's gone. But there's tons and tons. It's like a giant list, and I'll post in the comments below a full list of all the sites that you can look at. Those of you who are listening to it as a podcast, if you want that list, go check out our YouTube. I'll have it up on our video about this. But to all of the filmmakers out there who can't afford to do this, like, because these programs they cost money's up front to do this. And what's great about these programs is that they take your script, you can download the final draft file, it will take the information, and using AI, I assume, throw it all on strip boards for you. Now you still have to go through and double check all of the work, which is what I've been up to lately, or tailor it to what you need, because you can make the strip board just have the information that you need for right now. So for us, where we're at, I've made the strip board only pertain to the information that you and I need to figure out our budget and also our what we could do with some other funding efforts that we're trying to do. So it's very specific. But the programs that are out there now can do that. You can do all of that for yourself the hard way without having to pay anybody any monies on Excel. You absolutely just go take a look at a picture of one. You can make an Excel to do it for yourself. You can even make it movable as well. You can get on Google Spreadsheet. I love Google Spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Make one there, and then you can even share that Google Spreadsheet with your entire team. And I say all this just to empower us filmmakers who don't have money to spend up front, that you can do it for yourself. It's just going to take a little extra legwork.
That's what I would probably do. I
Yeah,
mean, in the past, it's in
100%.
a notebook.
Yeah.
But moving forward from now on, when I make one of these for one of our Just You and I things,
Yeah.
I'm going to use Google Sheets because I have
100%.
mine. It's always a notebook, and I got letters next to things.
Yeah.
Like that's, and so then I can go put those letters in order because I can
no,
move those. You know, like
You've done it. You've been
I'm
doing
basically
this.
done, yeah.
No, you've been doing this, Natalie. Your brain works this way. You've been doing this for like the 17 years that you and I have been making
Yeah.
stuff together. Like you've been the person doing
I-
this just like your own way.
yeah.
It's
I was-
literally how this was born.
And not because I had any idea that this was what you were supposed to do. It's just you needed it.
You just need it.
It's out of necessity. Because I mean, I basically did one for in the event of, which was
Oh,
just
right.
a sketch we were filming in
Yeah.
our living room. But it was like, but we need to do these in this order because it's more convenient. You know, more.
Yeah.
And then the same thing when we did what's the if Alexa were a man.
Oh,
Like,
right.
I definitely had all of that. Like this.
Yeah. You
It
had
was
done.
just
You had done this
pencil
amount
on
of work.
paper.
But yeah, you had done this work to the level that we really needed it to be done. Like, because it was just me and you, so we could do
Yeah.
a notebook and you can take a
Yeah.
picture of your notebook and send it to me and go, here's the shooting schedule, Tara. I'm like, great.
But it
like,
probably would have been easier if I had done it
Yes,
in a
it-
spreadsheet.
probably.
Oh, no.
I
All right.
encourage every filmmaker out there who's like listening to this and still making short films and or just starting to make sketches or whatever, give a spreadsheet a whirl for organizing your scenes just to get your brain in that place. It will make your days so much easier if you just
Oh.
just a baby, just a delicate spreadsheet with just a number and the scene name. Like you'll be amazed how much easier your life will be when you start using this kind of a tool.
I'm gonna go in my notebook and see if I can find a picture of the one
I
for
think
in
you
the event
should.
of and
Oh,
whatever, and we'll post
it.
it.
Oh, please.
I
If you can find
100%.
social anxiety, I would love that too.
The
That was madness.
hand wrote a okay.
Yeah. Okay, podcast friends, you can find that on Instagram. We're gonna post that on Instagram for you. We're gonna put all this information up there for you because
So dumb.
I love it. No, I love it. Like that is indie filmmaking, and I am here for it.
See, and that's because we didn't go to film school. So
Right.
while there was like that's what I'm saying. I was doing a thing that I didn't know was I mean, I knew it was a thing.
Yeah.
I've seen call sheets. Those have strip boards on them, but I
Uh-huh.
had never thought about it like in the pre-planning and scheduling portion of it.
Yeah. You never thought like, yeah, how did we get to that thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too funny.
Yeah, and that's what happens in the future is that you take all this information, the stripboard information, and then you put it into a call sheet, which is how you and I first became familiar with that this was even a thing that needed to be done, is you see it like, oh, here's the summation of the day. I love call sheets. I love stripboards. I love organization.
We'll get into call sheets some other day. It's
That's
that
like
is-
months
that's
away.
way down the road.
Way down the road. All right, so I to our podcast friends out there, you won't be able to see us. I'm going to throw up in our live stream here our strip boards to be seen. I'm gonna talk it through though for those who are listening. So for our strip boards where we're at right now, my primary concern is just what our scene numbers are, what time of day, where we are. So you see we got like scene 1, it's an interior shot. We're in the bunker. So I know, okay, here's our first bunker scene. We have a very limited cast, just Natalie and I, but also our lead character has a voiceover. So I've denoted also every time that we have a voiceover so that we know, okay, there's going to be voiceover stuff to be worried about. And then for our purposes of where we're at now, I've added a spot in our strip board where I'm naming out props and things in the rooms, set decking, that are all things that could be sponsored, that could have an actual product that We can do product placement and get funding that way. So for us, we've got a calendar that could be anybody's calendar, but it's heavily featured in our movie. So you as a like say you're a tractor company, you want us to use a tractor calendar. We're promoting your product by having that calendar up on the wall. That's going to be in a lot of shots. It's free. That's not free advertisement, but that's advertisement for your company integrated into a movie. We got a coffee cup that we could put anything on this coffee cup, anybody's label, anyone's, print on demand sticker company could be on our coffee cup. And it's going to be in a lot of scenes because it's going to be in our lead character's hands. For us specifically, we've got things like scrambled eggs that are prepper scrambled eggs specifically in our bunker. It would be amazing to get an actual brand MRE scrambled egg, and that could be featured in this scene. We've got cans of food and prepper books, a water filtration system. And tequila. There are several scenes with tequila that are in our movie. And so I want to know at this point where we're at, I want to know how many shooting days do we think we got? How many brands can I pull in easily? I want to be able to scan through this and go, yes, we have 3 tequila scenes. These are the scene numbers. Here's what the scene looks like. I can pull it quickly to send it over to the tequila brand so they can take a look at the scenes. And I want to know how many times Natalie and I are always in the scene. How many times is it just Natalie? How many times is it just me? How many times do we need to be in the bunker, and how many days in that bunker? Because in theory, at some point, maybe we bring in a bunker brand that is the bunker that we film on their prefab bunker. I don't know, but it would be great to be able to tell them, oh, we only need 3 days to shoot on your bunker. That's all that's necessary.
Well, and going into what's going to happen later on. Actually, will you pull that back up?
Yeah, sorry.
Going into what's going to happen later on, you're going to need to know how many days you're going to need each location. So, Terry, is there a way now to like look at, and I know this hasn't been done yet. But
Oh, yeah.
where would I see how many days right now that the bunker's needed in this? Like, we're
not quite there yet because I'm still inputting. So as you keep going, you're going to see, as we keep going, there's less and less information because I got to go through and check with the script to see what we got here.
But this would then be able to filter it down into bunker?
Yeah, so
or
eventually.
Just day, or just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so eventually I'll be able to pull it all together into like a calendar where it's going to show me literally, okay, we got this on these scenes on this day, these scenes on this day, based on page count, which is where this page count becomes very important. You can shoot out the bunker in X amount of days, and it will literally put it onto the program I've got, will literally put it on the calendar for me and show me this calendar spreadsheet. So, and when you're making your own stripboard yourself, you do day breaks. You'll put end of day, start of day, so that you can see like, okay, this is a big black bar on my stripboard that's going to show me end of day information, which I don't have that quite yet because we are so early on in the making of this process. But you will get there, and that's how you get there, is by putting in the grind work of putting all this information in here by hand. And you go through, you have to read every stitch of the scene to make sure you're catching all of these little details because it is that important.
So, and then over on the far right, not that anybody needs to see this, that last number was the day, what is it called? The script day?
Yeah, so for us, because
this is really important, I think.
Oh, it actually really is important. I started putting this in here because I was reading through the script and realizing like, oh, we need to know this. We need to know what day in the timeline of our story each scene is taking place. So I put a special spot on our stripboards to say script day. What day are we on? So a lot of the first stuff that I've got so far is day 1. But as we go into the stripboarding, I've got -2 months. So now we know that this was 2 months ago that the scene we're shooting now, and that's a scene that happens before the apocalypse starts. So that it kind of tells the story of like how we got into the bunker. And as Natalie and I's story goes forward, it starts to be day 2 in the bunker, day 3 in the bunker. And then once we leave the bunker, we've got day 1 after bunker, day 2 after bunker, which is really important in our script because we literally denote it on screen in real time. So like everybody needs to know what day we're on so that everyone knows where we're at in the story.
Well, for us, it's really important, but it's important for every script, I think, because if you're changing costumes once then
Uh-huh.
you need to know what day. Like,
Yeah.
I was rewatching Memento the other day. Memento. I almost said momentum. And while that is a trippy ass
Yeah.
script to begin with, but like, you just like, how do you keep track? I think there's one flaw. I think they missed a scratch on someone's face at one point in time. Like, but like keeping track, what day in the script is this, and what does that mean for the state of your clothing? What does that
Yeah.
mean for, the state of, if you've got a black eye? Where are
Hmm.
you in your black eyes progression if you're going back and forth?
Oh my
And that is
gosh.
something that you will end up while you're putting your script together. That's a red flag. The black
Hmm.
eye would be, okay, well, I need to film all the black eye things at the same time.
Yeah.
Or, and especially on lower budget. The lower your budget, the more you have to pay attention to this stuff, because if you need to shoot black eye stuff, you don't want to you don't want to add another day on. So you need to do it all at the same time. If you need to rip
Hmm.
some clothes, you
Yeah.
probably only have 2 sets of anything. So you want to film everything that you want to film up to that moment. You'll have a backup, but if God forbid something happens to that, you can't afford to go get another suit. So if you need to
Yeah.
ruin something, you need to break something, you need to film every single thing that is going to be in before
Hmm.
you break that prop, or have backups.
Yeah.
And backups
Or
get
know you need
expensive.
backups.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's the thing is like the less money you have, the more important this stuff becomes. So although this feels like overkill for a small
Hmm.
project, for an indie project, even your short film, do this because it will save you money and it will save
Hmm.
you headaches and it will save you stress. If you know I only get 2 shots at this shirt, I can't ruin this shirt. Let's save it to the end, that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Because there's going to
Hmm.
be multiple of those things that are important to
Right.
track.
We've done it with when we were filming Ash's Good Grief.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there were things with the wardrobe there. It's like, well, she's gonna get wet. We have one
Hmm.
change, so we need to save anything that's gonna like it was supposed to be in the middle of it, but we don't have time for her to dry off. So if
Right.
you're going to get wet, then let's put that at the end. We'll film it
Hmm.
out of order, and it's there's a lot of that, and
Yeah.
that's not the original point of the strip board, but it's something that will come up while
But
you're
it will come
doing the
up.
strip boards, and it will save you money and time in the long run.
Yeah, and every department is going to have a different brain for this stuff. It's oh gosh, the first time
Hmm.
we ever really embraced that part is when we were doing Imaginary Friends, and we finally had brought other people in other departments like prop departments, and the first AD. Our first AD was incredible. He asked so many good questions
Yeah.
because now we're having to share our work with other people, but other people's concerns like, well, what color is this thing? And we're like, oh, I
Yeah.
guess it does kind of matter
Hmm.
beyond just an artistic choice. Yeah. So like each department that's gonna, as you progress, the importance of the strip boards gets more and more because more people are gonna start to noting, well, you said this is a purple, a purple robe. So I'm gonna denote that in my little strip or purple robe so that everyone's on
Hmm.
board with it being a purple robe because it matters
Because
for
then
reasons.
you don't get a purple couch.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's like
Everyone
you already
knows.
know she's gonna be, yeah. There it's such an intricate, and so then the team comes together. So when we were shooting Social Anxiety, that is a bunch, for anybody who hasn't seen it, that film is a woman who is imagining all the worst case scenarios as she comes up to a party. And in that film, we see these realities over and over again. And it's just a one after another, after another, after another. And we're going to film all of one side looking in, and we're going to film all the other side. However, we have costume changes that are different on each side, and you're dirtying the frame with your shoulder. So,
Hmm.
so you will see what costume changes they have, and their costume changes do not sync up. So it was my concern as not the actor, my concern as the costumer was, okay, we need to try to put all of these first three on this end so there's fewer costume changes because we were shooting in one day. Like every time we have to have a costume change, that's another 5 minutes at minimum. So let's do as few of that. And normally your costumer is not in on these kind of discussions. I happen to also be producing it,
Yeah.
and starring. So whatever, I got a little more say than normally, but
Right.
but we had to find the happy medium. We didn't want to move the camera. Moving the
Hmm.
camera takes longer. So that takes precedence. We're not going to move the camera, but we will do these out of order. And as an actor, that's not ideal, but it is better for the whole production because then we don't, but then we had to have a super script supervisor because
Oh,
they
yeah.
needed to keep track of when does she have earrings on, which earrings does
Mhm.
she have at this
Yeah.
moment.
It was
Now
a job.
We
Yeah.
didn't need that. I mean, we did need. You should have that. I'm saying we didn't need that because I'm really good at my job, but
You're hyper observant and
I'm
you're
hyper
like
observant.
Sherlockian when it
Oh
comes to this
yeah,
kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Bringing up social anxiety, that's actually a great segue into the next topic. Social anxiety, the location for social anxiety was a house, and you're thinking like, well, it's just a house. Any house will do. Your house will work. No,
Nope,
it didn't. As
nope.
we dove into that script, we realized you got to have a house with these very specific parameters because you've
Mm-hmm.
got to be able to see a party that's going on behind the person opening the door or not a party that's going on behind the door. It had about all these like little intricate details that like when you're looking at this, when you're thinking about you're writing it, you're just making it, we're just gonna make it, we're just gonna get a house. If we had just barreled forward and thought, well, I just need a house, just grab a house, we would have not gotten the right house. And I don't think it would have
No.
been nearly as effective. And additionally we needed to know, okay, we needed a house where we can park the car on the street and do some of the filming out front. And that became a whole other can of
Oh yeah,
worms with the
that's
with whatever. That's another story for another day. But knowing we had to have a house with that had a front street, like those are two pieces that you have to look at when you're making these schedules. So locations
mm-hmm.
are a
So
bigger thing than you think.
so you've got your strip board. You got it all broken down in your bunker and
Hmm.
your house and your whatever. But now you need to budgeting wise,
Yeah.
you need you need to do some preliminary location scouting. There will still be location scouting happening later on, but you need to find the locations that fit your script.
Hmm.
And that like Tara said, you say a house.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, I think our bunker is easier than our house because we can
Probably.
turn a
I think
basement
so.
into a bunker. We can
Yeah.
turn,
I
I
think
keep
you're right.
saying we can turn a theater into a bunker.
Into a
Like
bunker. Yeah.
that,
I think you're
that's not my,
correct.
the house is a bigger deal
The
because it needs to
house.
look like, first of all, sometimes they just have to have the right vibe.
Right.
Like it needs to look like this character lives here.
Hmm.
So you can't just get any house. So I mean, like if they're rich, they need to have a really nice house
Yeah.
and you need to get that. But even if they're just normal people, there are parameters like we need to have two bedrooms
Hmm.
and probably not much more.
No.
Maybe you could have a third. You need to have a back door. You need to have, there's all these things that you wrote in your script. And then there's what are the needs and what can you change? Because
Right.
like we need
Yeah.
to have some crawl space under the house and the exterior needs to look like it has a crawl space under the house.
Yeah.
Or can we rewrite it so that it has an attic?
Attic.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in
Um,
ours too, like house, fridge. We have a very
mhm,
specific fridge and a lot of jokes on that fridge. So
mhm.
like getting the right kind of pull-out fridge, not a two-sided French door fridge that has the freezer on one side. We really need the
Mhm.
freezer to be a pull-out freezer because we have jokes. Now we could rewrite that, but the ideal house has a very specific fridge
Mhm.
that we did when we were writing this, we wrote this for your home. So like
Right.
there are these specificities because of that reason. But now we're like, okay, we imagined it this way. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's see if we can find it or fix it.
So that's just the interior of your
Yeah.
place. Like so that you can futz with that. And you can trick things.
Oh
I mean
yeah.
the biggest one ever is Monty Python Holy Grail. They could not afford more than one castle to shoot in, so they just kept shooting down different hallways and putting up different curtains. You get to be really really tricksy with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
However, sometimes it's harder like the outside. Where
Hmm.
does your film take place? Does it have to take place in California? Like, does it need to look like it's on a beach city? Does that beach have to be Venice? Does it have to be West Coast? Can it be East Coast? And like, those things that you might be able to change. Now, that's just the practicality of what people are going to see on camera. What does that mean behind camera? Like, are you shooting where you live? Are
Hmm.
you now going someplace else? Like we're talking about, we're going to try to go to Alabama because it's so much cheaper to film. Now, what does that
Right.
mean for our exteriors? We don't want it necessarily to take place in Alabama. So can we figure that out? Can we make it
Hmm.
generic? Can we,
Yeah. Yeah. And no slice on Alabama. It's just that our script it's not as unusual in our storyline for people in Alabama to know how to survive. It's way funnier if it's
hmm
two fish out of water from California who have no idea what prepping is like. So it
right.
doesn't work for our story. It's a better story if it takes place in a place like California where prepping is not as common, where
hmm hmm
preparedness is not a thing that you really have to do.
hmm
Um, Also like when going to the specific locations and stuff, like that community support can really tip you into I want to go there because I can make it look it. I could grab an exterior from somewhere else if that local support's going to be there. we were able to film in a house for free or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal with that. Like, locations are such a massive part of your budget, and trying to figure out how can I get this location for the least amount of money as humanly possible. It's a big deal. But when you start getting stuff for less money or for free, now you got to consider you're putting somebody out for X amount of time, and you're also trampling their home to death. So, like, find that balance of like, okay, now thank you so much for offering your space. I want to honor that. Like, how can I make this not the worst choice that you've ever made in your entire life? Which
Hmm.
always seems to happen when filming. The person who's like, yeah, use my house, by the
They're
12th
never
hour
happy.
does not want you there. So,
They're
like,
never happy.
I can't tell you how many shoots I've done in a person's home, not even where I was in charge, where I was like just a PA. And the person whose home it is like, get out.
Yeah.
And we're like, packing up, packing up.
I did one in St. Louis that was Crosby is his last name. I can't think of his first name right now. He we filmed in his mom's house at one point in time. Like we needed a little interior home office and she had one, so she let us use it. Oh, she was so unhappy. Like quite often they don't understand what that entails. That
Yeah.
means moving things. You
Yeah.
don't just get to walk into that room and shoot. You are going to rearrange the furniture. Like
Yeah.
you're going to and like you're going to have to put something on the wall. Like
Uh-huh.
there's going to like there might be you might have to put a nail in. Like, you know, like this is
Mhm.
this is this is the insanity of filming
Yeah.
outside of LA because inside LA everyone knows that.
It
Like
gets it, and
social
that's why they
anxiety.
charge you.
Yeah, social anxiety. We got really lucky. Paula Rhodes let us use her house. I mean, we rented the house for a
Yes.
very, very, very cheap price.
Oh, for a
But
great
they're
price.
both actors. So they knew going in what this would entail, and we could discuss through like, okay, we're not going to do this. She's like, do you need to move this couch? We don't need to do this. We're going to, so we could have a real honest conversation about what was
Yeah.
going to happen. And I think they were totally okay. I don't think there was any. They actually talk no, because they did actually talk about
Yeah,
they
they
might
did.
rent it out
Yeah.
later on. Like they were like,
Yeah.
that wasn't a bad experience. I was like,
Exactly. We did good. I
yeah,
was so
we did
proud
really
of
well.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, and on that note, it's tempting. Production, it's so tempting to lie and be sneaky. Don't do that. Don't
don't
do
do that.
that. Just be upfront with the people you're working with. Be honest. It
Mm-hmm.
will maybe they'll say no in the beginning to what you're trying to do. Better then than later when they're really angry with you. Like I just for me as a filmmaker, like I'd rather be upfront and honest with the location I'm filming at,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to do and what we're doing and how we're going to do it, than try and be sneaky and say, oh, it's only gonna be like 10 hours and actually it needs to be 14. Like, don't do
Don't.
that. Be honest
Yeah.
up front. Negotiate that up front because the stress level on the back is on the back end of filming on filming day, like, don't. And my other little tip that we've learned from doing things is having cash on hand.
Literally,
Literally.
and the number's probably going to have to go up because
Oh.
we've been doing this for a while, but you keep
Oh, yeah.
$1,000 cash on hand
Oh,
so that you
always.
can bribe
I do it on
people
every job. Yeah.
to sometimes you need to pay you need to stay an extra hour. If I give you the funds right now, you know, it's also been, in LA it's really bad. People will start mowing their lawns now because they know that they'll get
Yeah.
like if you're doing exterior, someone's going to walk out and start mowing their lawn because
Yeah.
they know you'll come over and bribe them to stop.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah. Give them
it's
20
a
bucks to
racket.
stop.
It's a
Oh, it's a
racket.
racket. We're all in the racket. Yeah.
I would, you know what could be a whole career. You could just drive around with a lawnmower in your back of your
Oh,
truck.
yeah.
When you see a production, jump out and just start mowing
Start
a lawn.
mowing your lawn. Yeah, because you have every
Anyone's
right
lawn.
to mow a lawn. Yeah, and then give you 20 bucks and you
Yeah.
move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You and I have got like crazy funny stories from doing because we've had to find so many locations over the years. Like Imaginary Friends, speaking of bribing, we filmed at a defunct now Stages that was really, really popular for like lawyer shows to film it because it had all these big lawyer spaces, big DC, big areas like that, big offices and stuff. So we use it for Imaginary Friends, and we were getting it on the sly because we got a deal. And again, like when you do that, just know you may get shut down the day before you shoot. So we were filming on the sly. We got a allotted amount of time. And luckily, our director, Jason C. Brown, is the most charming man on the planet. I would send him to talk to our location manager often. Like, could you go talk to him? We went over. We went over on the time that we had. And we
So
had
I
to
want
go,
to say we weren't filming on the sly. I don't
well,
think
not
that's
on
the
the
right word for it.
sly,
We were getting it super cheap.
super
We were
cheap.
getting we were getting like student rates
Oh,
when
we
we
were
were at
allowed to
student
be
rates.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
we
allowed to
were.
be there. Absolutely. The location
Yeah.
managers in, the owners were in,
Hmm.
they all knew, but we were getting a stupid
We were
deal
getting a
on a
steal.
day
Yeah. Hmm.
they were off. So
Yeah.
they were off, they were dark for the day, they knew they weren't needing it. They were only going to turn on the bare minimum of lights that we needed, and we only needed two things. We needed a
Yeah.
group therapy scene, which they had this library that we tricked out to look like they had a law office library. We tricked it out to look like a regular library.
Hmm.
And then we were filming an office scene, and we made the office, this DC lawyer office, look more like a therapist's office. So we
Hmm.
had these two spots, and then we did an amazing set of photo shoots with our cast because we
Now
had time.
that was on the slide. That we
That,
weren't supposed
that
to be
was
doing.
super on the slide. We were not supposed to be in those spaces. But anyway, so we were getting this really good deal, and it was on the slide that we weren't on the books. Like, let's say that. We were, if somebody else wanted to book that space, they would have booked it and we would have been
Yeah.
out. So anyways, that's what I mean by slide. So we were going over on our time, and this was one of early days of filming, and I had to send your boyfriend to go get money. It's like, go get $1,000 in cash and come back. Because I couldn't leave. So he goes
Right.
and gets money for me. And we're like, here's an extra money. Can we please finish filming for another hour? Like,
Yeah.
having that money in our pockets to continue on was a game changer, lifesaver.
And they didn't tell me.
Oh no, we told
No,
you
no one,
nothing.
no one told me.
No, we told you way later. We're like, yeah, so
Yeah,
the budget
no.
is bigger by
Well,
$1,000.
it's not even that. They just knew
Yeah.
that I was at the
No,
end of
you,
my
yeah.
rope.
That was a long day.
Do you remember? No, remember that was the night that I got 1 hour sleep because we
Yeah.
had lost our witch, and then
That's
everyone
right.
else, you and Jason were both asleep, and I was
Yeah,
up
and
all
you were the
night
one
trying
dealing
to
with the
solve
problem.
this because no one would answer their phone. So
I
I'm
know.
recasting
We were
our
dead
witch
asleep. Oh
in the
God.
middle of the night.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It worked
Yeah.
out. It all worked out.
It did. It did. We also, like, on that shoot, we also had this, I mentioned this earlier, and I bring it back around for, like, we had a yogurt shop that we needed. We needed a yogurt shop. We needed something like a yogurt shop. And Jason C. Brown found us an owner of a yogurt shop that sweetheart, let us film on, like, I think a day that they normally are closed, and this one's in Pasadena. And we also needed a coffee shop that looked completely different. Like, how are we going to find a coffee shop? And our amazing production designer for that, like, he managed to make that yogurt shop. He took one corner of it and he brought in some signs, brought in some stuff, moved some stuff around, and magically our yogurt shop over in this corner
Is now
became
a
a coffee shop.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was
Like,
brilliant.
when you watch that movie, you don't realize that the coffee shop and the yogurt shop are in the same building. We just had this
And
amazing production team.
And we had to do exteriors on both of those. So we had an exterior of
Oh,
the yogurt shop and we
right.
had an exterior of the coffee shop. And luckily it was on a corner. So we shot all the exterior of the yogurt shop on this side and all of the exterior of the coffee shop on this side. Just, like it just looks like a street in Pasadena. But like, again, that's like, can you get tricky with it? Can you
Yeah.
like if we had found any other location, that would have messed up our exteriors. We would have had
Yeah.
to figure out another exterior for
Oh my God.
yeah.
And then again, that blows up your budget. That adds a new line item. Locations are one of the most expensive things in your budget. You and I filmed a movie called Panic Button, and we needed a very specific tree, which sounds insane. I understand. But
Don't
there's
write
a line.
specifics.
There's a line in there, and we wanted to look this way anyways, but there was a line in there. How big can Yosemite actually be? Well, now we have to find Yosemite in Los Angeles. And we went through every place that had the right tree in LA
Yeah.
and just realized, like, it's going to be so expensive to film in Los Angeles. Just wildly. The permitting alone was going to sink us on this
We
little
need
tiny
fire
short film.
marshals and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness.
And,
Yeah. So I think it was you, had the brilliant idea, like, let's just get an Airbnb near Yosemite or near the woods. Where were we? Yosemite.
We were in Mariposa.
Mariposa.
The far, like, because that's what we started to look at. I found a Airbnb in Mariposa, which is the far south end of Yosemite, and that was on 20 acres.
Yeah.
And I looked at all of the Airbnb pictures, and I was like, I feel like we can do this.
Yeah.
So, and it had like 5 bedrooms, right? So now we're like,
Yeah, it was a
okay, we're
lot.
gonna do the bare minimum cast and crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll share. So it was funny. So At the Justin is now a PA because he and
Yeah.
I can share a
Share
bed.
bed.
Brandon became
Brandon came
our cook.
our cook, our crafty, because we could share a bed, and he did an amazing job, by the way.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
such a good crafty. I love him for it.
And we bare
Always.
bones did. It was like, okay. And then we got people that it was like, okay, well, but now we're going to go to a cabin together
Yeah.
and we'll bring the booze.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
and
but
this
yeah, but then we lied. See, this one we did lie.
we did lie on
So,
this one, and it was a half lie, half
yeah.
truth. Like, I talked to the location, I talked to the owner of the Airbnb. I was very upfront. I was like, hey, me and my friends are filmmakers. We love your land. Would it be all right with you if we filmed some stuff on your land for our director's reel?
Yeah.
Not untrue.
That's
We
the
won't be,
trick.
yeah. And I made it
Yeah.
clear, like, we will not be filming in the house. We will not be filming on the land near the house. It's all going to be in the deep woods. And so I was very upfront about where we were filming.
Hmm.
But I didn't want them to blow the budget up on us, because I was done with another location that was a woods thing where the person was blowing the budget up because they found out we were
Hmm.
filming. It's like having a wedding. Don't tell them you're having a wedding. You're having a giant party. Because the
Yeah.
second they hear the word wedding, they're like, oh, dollar signs.
Monies.
And
Yeah.
we just didn't, we weren't going to be bringing a generator. So there was no reason to cover your basis as a location by
Hmm.
upping the price tag.
Right.
So we were half truthful with that one. I felt nervous the entire time, which is why don't lie, because you're just going to be
Yeah.
stressed. But it worked out, and it looked amazing, even though we had to shoot the whole thing twice. But you were brilliant. You got on Google Maps and also on their site and started looking at the woods through like
Hmm.
whatever you could find. Like, okay, we could shoot here, because we couldn't get there to location scout it. So you
Hmm.
just got on Google Maps and were like looking around or in their things, like, okay, if we
I
go over here, we could shoot it.
hmm Yeah, I went through all of their reviews, all their pictures, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this looks like there's a little tiny trickle river
This,
over here. But I really
yeah.
think that location scouting outs when you're just kind of in that preliminary and like, what can this look like? We were just doing it with the one we're doing now.
Hmm.
Go to Street View, go to Google
Yeah.
Maps, go to your Street View, walk through it. Like you can, I mean, I do it when I look at apartments,
Right.
when you're looking for in your apartment hunting, and then you're like, well, but also why not do it if you're location scouting? It's the same thing. You just
Yeah.
need to know what it looks like. And does it look busy? How close is it? You can look at the map and find out how close it is to the freeway. Am I going to be contending with sound? Where's the closest airport? Am I going to be fighting with
Oh,
with
yeah.
planes the
Yeah.
entire time?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you location scouted here, you might realize that there's like the biggest helicopter piloting thing. Yeah, okay. So I moved from LA where there's, hold for chopper every 5 seconds
It's a joke, but
to southern Utah, and there is a helicopter school around the corner from me. So while filming student films and stuff out here, we're holding
oh,
for chopper still. And I
yeah.
am like, this is insane. How did I
Yeah.
do this? How did
Oh my
I didn't
goodness.
location scout well enough in
That's
my move.
hilarious. Hilarious. I mean, we didn't have any issues when we were filming on a green screen in your living room.
Mm-mm.
None at all. Which is hilarious. So we made the decision when we were making in the event of the current film have out right now. We went back and forth on like, could we get a plane, the interior plane? Do we need that? Should we green screen it? We
Hmm.
decided to go with green screening for budgeting concerns, because it also served what we were doing better than having an actual interior of a plane, which is hilarious because now I'm filming tomorrow on a plane set. I'm so curious to find out, where is it? How much is it?
Oh
What's the
yeah.
story? Yeah, it's
There's
all
a couple
blue.
good
That's what I
ones.
know.
There's a
Yeah.
couple good ones in southern LA. Yeah, well, in that situation, it dictated how our script ended up too. Like,
It
so
did.
we decided to green screen, and then you have to make the jokes different, and you have to
Yeah.
like. So
Yeah.
there was there's taking that into account,
Mhm.
and then even then we thought about trying to get together with the local school
We
and
did.
using their green screen because it's already set up, but we all ultimately decided, like, budget wise, let's just go bare bones. Let's set it up and learn how to do it ourselves.
Hmm.
Now, however, what's really fun, I think, is at the beginning of this sketch, there is a scene that makes it look like we're on a studio green screen. And then I think it needed that for the story.
Yeah.
So what we did was rent a tiny little community space in Cedar City, brought our green screen there, and got a couple friends to come over and pretend like they were cast and crew. So that, and this is where that stripboard comes in. There's 3 shots of that. 3 shots on that green screen that are not from the front. We filmed all of those on that day instead of filming them in order because it's at the beginning, at the end,
Mhm.
and in the middle. So we just, set the camera up that way and we spent an hour in this space
Yep.
getting all the shots we needed,
Yeah. So our
So,
most expensive line item was taken down to a very small, understandable amount for what we're doing. Like,
yeah.
we got to keep our budget in line because of that. Thank
Mhm.
goodness. Yeah. So anyway, so all of this stuff, this location, the stripboarding especially, like you're gonna do this so many times through the process of making any movie, especially feature films.
Yeah.
It's not just for your budgeting. We're gonna come back to these topics again over and over and over. So we're leaving the door open to come back to talking about locations, to come back to talking about stripboarding, because we're gonna have to be here again. So if we didn't quite touch on what you care about when it comes to location and stripboarding, we got more coming for you later on.
We definitely need to do strip boards again when it comes to like actually scheduling, and then location scouting. I think we should definitely dive into like what you need to be looking for those like actual production scouts. Like not just the like we're finding a location. Like what do you need when you get there?
When you get there, yeah. Like I would love to spend an entire episode on just the nuts and bolts of finding the right location, not because of what it looks like or for your art aesthetics, but like plugs and other like where are we setting up crafty, all the things to consider, like diving that was, especially like if we can find people to talk to about it, like what are you looking for first AD, what are you looking for DP, like we're gonna come back to that later on.
I've said it every time we've talked about the bunker. I'm like, the sound is going to be terrible. We need to take into account.
And you're right.
We can't actually film in the cramped space that it's supposed to look like.
Right.
We keep saying magic world where we got a bunker. I'm like, magic world where we actually got a bunker, the sound is shit.
Not
like,
ideal.
We don't actually, it's not what we want. But that is...
You think that's a good idea. It's a terrible idea. We're bringing moving blankets if we're doing that. Like, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're going to come back to this stuff later on from different angles. But for right now, that's where we're currently at with our locations and our stripboarding for our feature film. It's been fun so far. I was so excited to get the stripboards going for this episode. Thank you to this podcast for making me do my homework, because that's kind of part of what this is. Oh, we had a meeting recently with our team. It was really good. Just to catch you up on where we're at with Turns Out, we had a really great meeting. Was it this Monday? It was this Monday. Oh my gosh. This has been a wild week for me. Like a wild week for you too. It's so much is going on.
They're all wild weeks.
They're all wild weeks. But we had a meeting which kind of spurred this spurred the need for the stripboarding for product placement, because we are starting to we're right there, about to start looking for product placement and investors and stuff. And like, it was a very holding for Chopper. Can you hear this? Mm-hmm. Oh boy. We're right there. So for me, it was such an inspiring, exciting meeting. Like I was like, okay, we're doing it. We're going to start reaching out. So you investors out there, if you want to give me a call, you want to email the email address below.
We will send you the deck. We will send you our investor one sheet or whatever they're called. I don't know. We've got things.
We got stuff if you're interested in making an apocalyptic buddy comedy happen. It's going to be so good. So good. All right, guys. That being said, we are at the best part of the show, the Abby Singer shot. I love the Abby Singer. I'm going to make a playlist of these. I love them.
I'll love that playlist. It'll make me so happy. The Abby Singer, brought to you by Studio Binder.
Studio Binder!
Not actually sponsored, but hey, Studio Binder. Hey, want to sponsor this podcast?
Hey, give me a call.
Okay, so the Abby Singer word of the day is vignette. Yeah, vignette. So a vignette is a scene in a movie that can stand alone. Their famous example of it is the orgasm scene in When Harry Met Sally. Like that scene
vignette
can just live on its own. It doesn't need the rest of the movie. But so just to break down vignette a little bit, because it's used in a lot of different things. Vignette in photography, most people do know at this point in time, because everybody's got the filter and it brings in the darkness on the side. Which made sense for me for a minute, because I was like, oh, because it's compartmentalized. It's a scene that stands alone.
Hey, yeah.
However, vignette in literature means a short piece that does not have a beginning, middle, or end, a moment in time. So I don't have examples of that, but I can, you know what I'm saying. So that doesn't I guess it's still kind of like, oh, you're just looking at this one moment. So like the
Yeah.
light coming in on the side, like I don't know,
Right.
very
What comes to
focused.
mind is the opening. Every Game of Thrones book has an opening scene that doesn't
Hmm.
have a character you ever see again. And it's
Hmm.
one moment in time of somebody else in Westeros experiencing what we're about to experience. I
Jurassic
love
Park.
them.
Jurassic
Okay.
Park has that great scene with the little which actually are
Yeah.
probably raptors, but they're not
Right.
in the
Whatever.
book. But like it's unrelated, but it gives
Yeah.
you the scene of there's danger from dinosaurs. They're
Yeah.
eating
I love
babies. I
it.
think they ate the
Yeah.
baby. Didn't they eat a baby?
I
I don't know.
think
It's been a
so. I
long
haven't
time.
read it in a long time.
Okay, so not so then there's a thing called a vignette film.
Hmm.
They're films that are just vignettes. So like the most famous example right now I think is like Magnolia. Those are
Okay.
all the scenes that don't and if it's done right, it comes together at the end and there is a through
Right.
line that you didn't really
Uh-huh.
realize, but like it's just like all these little slices of life that are all compiled and you
Yeah.
don't really like, wait a minute, would parts of Holy Grail are vignettes then?
Yeah.
Like, like all those things have nothing to do with anything. Like, but here's this little vignette scene.
Right.
Magnolia Four Rooms, which I've never seen, but I know a
Never
lot of
seen.
people have. They think Crash is as well.
Okay.
It just doesn't tie together the same way Magnolia does, and it doesn't stand alone the same way. But technically what it's trying to do.
Would
Um,
He's Not That Into You count as vignettes? Because they're all
I
different
don't
storylines.
think I've seen that.
Okay. It's like different story each like they kind of interconnect because there's like one character that will sometimes
Right.
pop up in other scenes because they're
Well, so like
but they're
I don't
all
think
different stories.
so. I don't think Love. Okay, wait. So it's not an anthology film.
Okay.
So what is that? The Buster. An anthology film is like Twilight Zone, the movie, is an anthology
Okay.
film where each
Anthology film.
one is
Yeah.
because those stories all have a beginning, middle, and end. They are complete stories. They're just short
Right.
stories within. So I don't know about that film because I haven't seen it, but is it an anthology? I don't know. There
Chime
was
in if
one
you know.
that just popped into my head too that I was like, is that Love Actually?
Okay.
Is Love Actually a vignette film?
That's a
Like
great question.
because
I feel like that would be right.
but those stories all have, I mean, they each don't have anything to do with each other, but so I guess there could be any, I don't know.
I don't know.
Um,
That's a great question. I asked the audience that if you want to chime in on any of our platforms and say, is Love Actually or He's Just Not That Into a vignette film? Let me know. Let me know
he's
your
just not
thoughts.
into your vignette film.
Yeah.
So what it made me think of, we have vignettes in Turns Out.
Oh yeah.
So when we originally wrote Turns Out, it was a web series, and quite often we call them cold opens.
Right.
When you're doing a episodic, it happens a lot where there's just that scene at the beginning. Psych did it a lot. There was the scene at
Yeah.
the beginning that was a slice of the child's of young Sean and Gus, and those would have been those are we call them cold opens, but they would have been vignettes. And so we have a bunch of those that we didn't want to get rid of when we made it into a full feature. Some of them had to be lost, but they are things that have nothing to do with the plot line. But here's just these little vignettes of like a slice of life that tell you more about the characters or are just funny. There's a lot of them that often it'll be in like a really heavy scene that you'll just get like a little side thing about like these two characters that are fighting in the corner and they have nothing to do with the bigger story, but it's very memorable and it takes you out of that moment so you're not just on the heaviness of things.
Right.
Anyway, so I was like, oh wait, we use vignettes.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
now
yeah,
know how
yeah.
to say I know what a vignette is.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. I love it. That's vignette, and especially the vignette in photography. Some of my favorite things. I love it. Love it so much. Okay, guys, before we move on for the day, I'm just going to say thank you to all of our super chats out there. So the super chats that we get on our YouTube streams, we're going to put those directly to funding our movie. We're putting them in a little bank account. That little bank account's going to do things. So big thank yous to, I've got Mighty Guitar Mods. Thank you so much. His little comment was, movie money or coffee, maybe this. I also think that we at some point need to start doing that, like buy me a cup of coffee because we're going to
Yeah.
need so much coffee to make this happen. Scrolling down, also thank you to Ben Rathig, former nuclear missile silo rental fund. Thank you
Yep.
so much. Yep, that'll
See,
work.
the sound in that would be terrible.
I started watching Fallout and like the opening sequence for that, I'm like now
Oh, it's
terrified of the
phenomenal.
world again. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. But
Yeah.
now I'm scared of the world again. And then also thank you again to Mighty Guitar Mod's current nuclear missile silo rental fund. Because now I need one. After watching the opening sequence for Fallout, I want a real one. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared, guys. So thank you guys so much. We also have a PayPal link below that you can use to send us your monies if you want to help support our film along the way. We appreciate all of the money. There is no amount too small. It takes so many levels of funding to make this sucker happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you, guys.
Or if there is any world where you want to do more and you want to
Oh
become an
God.
investor on the film, their email address
Oh.
is linked everywhere, and we will take those emails and we will pass you on to our producer, and she will give you the deck. And she's
Oh yeah.
amazing.
She's
Allison's
awesome.
phenomenal. You'll love her.
I love her so much. I called her yesterday to talk about some stuff and just like I'm on the phone like I love this woman so much,
Hmm.
so much. And
Yeah.
she helped me deal with my headshot issue. Anyways,
Oh,
we
yeah.
got a picture that's gonna work for now. Okay, next week we're going to come back. We're going to start doing some interviews. The topic that we're going to be interviewing for the next couple of them is something that Natalie coined, and I'm going to keep saying you coined it because I want you to get credit for this. Marquee casting. Marquee casting is when you cast the right person for a
Hmm.
role who happens to also have a name. This is not stunt casting. Stunt casting is when you cast somebody no matter what, just because you want them in your movie because you think it'll get you eyeballs and funding and blah, blah, blah. No, no, this is casting the right person for the right role in your indie film, and it will also help you get funding because of their name. Marquee casting. Those interviews will start tomorrow. Next week, we've got Nelson
Not
Tracy.
tomorrow.
Not
Start
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
I'm seeing Nelson tomorrow, so that confused me. And I also just talked right into my mic. I'm so sorry, everybody
No,
who
you're
just got their
fine.
ears blasted. I'm seeing Nelson tomorrow. We're gonna be interviewing Nelson Tracy tomorrow, next week on Wednesday. Join us live. I can't do this live anymore. I'm too tired. Join us live on YouTube if you want to be a part of the live conversation. We do watch the comments
Hmm.
happening as they go. That happens at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That
Yeah.
episode will be out next Thursday.
Nelson had a great his first narrative feature film called Breakup Season, and it had Chandler Riggs in it of Walking Dead fame,
Hmm.
and he was phenomenal. And then a couple other like really saw. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, ensemble cast, amazing cast. We'll talk about the casting for everything, but also just how did you get a name like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. He said in his email to us that he's got lots of great stories, and so I'm so excited to dive. And he
Hmm.
is just a doll of a human being, an
Hmm.
absolute sweetheart. So I've been working with him closely the last couple of days on other things, and I appreciate this man so much. All right, guys, if you are listening to this podcast and didn't subscribe to it, please do. If you got filmmaker friends, please help us get the word out by sharing our podcast with your friends who make movies because we're looking for people to interview. Like we're doing next week with our interviews. We are actively looking for filmmakers who are at this level to interview. We don't want big names. We want you. We want you in the trenches making indie movies to join us, to get information out there, to share information, no gatekeeping. And the best way to do that is to share this podcast with your friends and contact us, email us. We're actively wanting to build a community here. So share and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right, guys, that is our episode today. Had a great time talking about this stuff with you. We'll be back next week. Stay safe and make some movies. I'll be back
Bam.
here.
Did it. Did it.
Did it. I'll be back here for this. My back is killing me.
Oh.
No, I'm fine. My shoulder. I've been at a drawing pad for 3 days now, and my left shoulder is not used to this activity, and it's hurtsies.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to the credit cookie. Welcome to our after the show chat where we're going to chat with you guys directly. All of you old school Silent Army folks, you know what's going on here. We used to do a live stream where we talked to the audience directly the entire time. And we want to keep doing that still, but not in the podcast. So after the credits, we're always going to hang out afterwards and talk directly to you. If you have questions that you want us to answer directly, this is the time to do it. More importantly, we also cover what mug, which you did earlier. I like the mug. Is that going to become a candle?
You know, it's funny. First of all, I don't know what's happening with the candle business.
Okay.
I don't,
That's true
I,
because
I,
tell them why.
my weekends are booked up for the next 2 months solid.
So
I've
good.
got 3 film festivals, including going to LA this weekend for Holly
Hmm.
Shorts, 2 in September, but then also I booked a feature film and I will be shooting on weekends. So, which is awesome,
So, which is great, which is
which is
amazing.
awesome.
Like,
But that means I am not selling candles. So who knows? I mean, will I be making any more candles? When?
when I know,
I don't know.
like the things that you and I do so much. And it's because we have all these really great, amazing ideas that come to mind, and then we start them, and then our schedules get crazy because we're like two of the most highly capable women on the planet. And so therefore we wind up doing a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And things sometimes other things have to sit out for a second while we do the other things. And then we'll come back to the things. And that's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. I give myself grace to come back to bookbinding another time because
So I put something new on Tara's plate this morning. This is how this happens, is we come up with
I'm
these
gonna be over here.
phenomenal ideas. So right
It's a
now,
good
Tara,
idea.
so we have Nelson Tracy on the podcast next week, and we were chatting him up. And can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
okay, at least what I know. So he is he directing, producing?
Directing.
Okay, he's
Hmm.
directing a music video right now that happens to have some airplane components to it. I don't know anything more than that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he emailed us back while we're going back and forth about having him on the podcast, and he says, "Did you guys make the artwork for your safety pamphlet?" And they were in search of a artist because they had one fall through or something.
Hmm.
Very last minute though, because they had
Oh,
someone fall through, they needed artwork within 4 days. It
yeah.
was, the turnaround on it was so tight, which is fine if that's what you do for your full time job and you can slot it in.
Right.
But when you
Hmm.
have to go to bartending and you have to edit a video and you have to put a podcast on and you have to, live,
Yeah.
anyway. So,
Anyways, yeah.
yeah, so they hired Tara to make their
Which is
artwork
cool.
for,
Yeah.
and then also she's going to be in the music video now too because
They sell me in my costume.
because
Yeah,
she has a flight attendant costume and they
yeah.
saw her in it and like
They're like,
so
could you come be a flight attendant? And like,
and
yeah,
so
of
wait,
course.
I wanted to say it's working.
It's
Like
working.
again, it's working. So this has been our thing. I'm like hearing my own
Yeah.
echo in your mic.
Oh no.
No, this has been our thing is that we're, like all the things we do is because we want to act and we want to
Right.
do things that are not bartending and not.
Right. Yeah.
So everything we do is that. And every time one of these things pop up where it's like, well, I know you do this, like I'm going to be, and I don't want to do these things, but I'm hosting the Q&A for the Better Off Dead
Which is
screening.
awesome. Yeah.
And then now I'm also hosting the Q&A for Gig
Uh-huh.
Harbor, which is a little
Yeah.
bit more, makes more sense. But it's one of those things where, wait a minute, it's
Wait a
working.
minute.
We are
It's
putting ourselves
working.
out there as
Uh-huh. As
creative
these things.
humans
Yeah.
and we're getting hired and we're getting cast and we're
Yeah.
getting, but also it's exhausting and,
I'm
good
so
problems.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
hey,
good problems. I'm so
mhm.
tired. Yeah, and it's no shade to our bartending jobs. Like I could never stop appreciating my bartending
No.
job enough. It was there for me in really dark times. I'm grateful to have it right now with the way the industry is. Like it's been my
Hmm.
10-year steady rock thing in my life. Like they were so forgiving and understanding when I was going through the throes of alcoholism and like trying to get through that, and they didn't fire me when they absolutely should have. They didn't.
Hmm.
However, I'm older and my body's breaking down. And
Yeah.
it's just hard, and like late nights are getting harder. So like anytime I get this glimmer of light of like other jobs I could do in the future for myself, like I grab them, and
Which
drawing would be, oh
Right.
man.
But which also means that you don't necessarily have the time to do the thing
Mm-mm,
that you're
no.
saying yes to.
Yeah.
But or that you really want to. Like I was saying,
Yeah.
like hosting the Q&A, like I had a fight or flight moment when both times that I got asked. Like I got asked back to
Mm-hmm.
back and I'm like, this sounds like a nightmare. This does not sound like something I want to do. However, Like it is something I need to do in order to move forward. And so while
Yeah.
I'll have a panic attack both of those days, it is good. And
Yeah.
it is and like this thing with, shooting this feature, like it does mean that I don't get to do the candle thing for, I have bins and bins of mugs that may never turn into candles. I don't know when I'll have time to start that career back up. And is that sunk cost? But it's good sunk cost if it means that I
Hey,
have to.
yeah, it was there in the interim, and it was, keeping the home fires going while other
Hmm.
things were working. Yeah, the reality of the life that we're leading is that it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be crazy. I when my book, the not even the acting part, but just the drawing part, like I was headed to work right afterwards, and the way to get the solace, the way I found peace in it, opened TikTok and I typed in. I wanted to hear interviews about actors whose schedules are really full. And I just listened to other people's, like, yeah, I got up at 3 a.m. and I did this and did that. Now, mind you, they're
Hmm.
making the big bucks and it's all kind of worth it for them. But like the reality of the situation is that, like, if I want to be more successful, even if this is the only job I do and I don't have to go bartend to keep the home fires burning,
Hmm.
that's the schedule. That's the
Yeah.
reality.
The amount of time it takes is not going to change.
Mm-mm.
It's just
No.
the amount of money you have to do it. Because I mean,
Uh-huh.
like, it's not like you'll be as busy. You just won't
Yeah.
be at the bar, or you
Right.
won't be.
I
Anyway,
won't be doing dishes, whatever. So.
so I came up with this thing that I want
Oh
Tara to
yeah,
do.
sorry. A little sidebar. I wanted a whole tangent about what I wanted to talk about. Natalie
No,
has a new job for me to do.
I know. Well, it was based off of that. So,
I love it.
so we came up with, because we have these vignettes, and that's why it was fresh in my head. We have these vignettes in our script. I want Tara to cartoon them. I want
Mm-hmm.
a comic strip like Kathy with
Yeah.
these little moments, and it works with our script. We can use them. We
Mm-hmm.
can use them. I don't think we can use them in the credits
No, probably not.
because it's part of the story, but we could use something
Yeah.
like that, like ones that
Yeah.
were from before,
Mm-hmm.
like from her comic. Because like, so Tara's character in it is a illustrator, so it works in that we can use them as our promo material, because we didn't really have promo material. We can hand out these little zins,
Little,
signs, whatever,
yeah.
um, or comic strips. We could,
Yeah.
or and maybe if we establish it, it can be part of the post, the
Mm-hmm.
credits. Look, more
Yeah.
work.
I love it. I
This
love
is
it.
what
More
I'm
work.
good at. I'm good at coming
She's
up with
really good at
really
coming
good
up ideas
ideas
that
that
Tara
make
has to
Tara
do.
work. Yeah.
The Tara's like, and again, this goes back to that we are both highly capable women, that I'm like, yeah, I absolutely can and have the ability, and also I want to, because that sounds so awesome.
So it was
Thanks.
always very funny when we were doing try stuff, and we would have some moment that it was like,
Oh,
wouldn't it be really cool if, and like, or something would go wrong and we needed to fix something. But like, I think the animating Bigfoot into our thing was one of those, we're like, well, what if you draw it? And
here's the
Tara's
thing,
like,
it's like
and
you
Tara's face always does this. She's like, and then she goes, and I go watch her digest it because she knows it's a really good
I
idea,
know
and
it's a good
she
idea, and I'm like,
wants to do it, but she also wants to say no. And like I watch her go, yes,
it's
yes, I'm
it's
gonna do
more
it.
like,
Yeah.
it's not that I want to say no, it's like I know how long and how hard that's going to be, and like, can I actually do it?
Yeah.
Do I actually have the time? Can I actually make it happen in the frame that we've got with the whole needing to go to work thing?
Uh-huh. And I always present it since
Oh
our
yeah.
since our very early on days of
Yeah.
doing
Um,
sketches. I'm like, how
so
hard would it be? Or
how
here's an idea.
hard
And
can you?
I think today when I said it, I was like, "Oh, I have a job for you." And you're like, "Oh God, what?" And I'm like, "No, it's a really good idea."
Yeah, it's always like, oh, but I think you're right. I think specifying, because in my mind, that my character has been a children's book illustrator, but I think
Yeah,
specifying
but
her into a comic strip
well,
illustrator is really
hmm
fun.
we
I
could,
love that
yeah.
idea.
I would say we could do a children's bookish, but I just don't think it works with the vignettes we have
No,
written.
no, no.
And I
I like
think,
the
yeah.
idea. There's a comic strip. I got to go look it up. I don't remember the name of it, but it was about a teenage girl that I used to read when I was young, that I
Mm,
think would be a perfect style to mimic. I just got to
mm.
go figure out who it is
Was it
and what it
Daria?
was. It wasn't Daria, but it was like I was in like junior high and
Yeah.
this comic strip was coming out, and I resonated with it because it was about a teenage girl, and it was just like
Hmm.
her day-to-day stuff, and
Yeah.
then, well, like, also you know what? The style would also work. Uh, Jughead. Uh,
The old one, the
Veronica,
50s. Yeah.
yeah,
Archie.
Veronica,
Archie.
Archie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that style. That would be really, I think that, ooh, and that kind of pulls in some Fallout vibes. I'm digging it. Okay, I hate you
Yeah,
so much.
I don't have a visual
Yeah,
idea. I
yeah,
just think it needs to be four squares, maybe one. I mean,
yeah.
Family Circus is always what pops into
Family
my head
Circus
when I
style.
yeah.
Yeah. My brain
But
immediately started, and that's also my eyes light up, and I start to, my brain, I start to calculate the how, the design, the look, and then I go, oh, but that's how many hours of
mhm.
work, but I have to be at work by 3 today.
See, on the other hand, what I will do is I'll come up with them when they're for myself, and then I just present the finished product, and I'm like, here, look, I storyboarded in the event of.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No. Oh, I love, one thing I'm going to say about Natalie and Natalie's style of dealing with things, and I don't, you'll present the problem and the answer at the same time. You go,
oh
I
yeah,
need an X. Here's the reference material you need. I'm like,
oh
bless you.
yeah.
Bless you. When I don't
I
get that, the reference material part is the second you give me the reference, I'm like, I got you. I
Right.
got you.
Yeah, if I send Tara a note on something for an edit and I'm like, I need it more like this, like, and then
Oh,
I will be like, this is what I was going for. And if I can have like a visual, I will
yeah.
always include a visual.
I've taken that to heart. I've tried to do that now. Whenever I present a problem, present the answer and then the research on the answer.
Mhm.
Like like here's everything you need. I'm sorry for presenting a problem.
Right. I mean, that's because that's my thing is if you come to
Yeah.
me with just a problem, like now I have to do the work to solve the problem
Right.
with a problem that you have because I didn't necessarily have that issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I
Yeah.
thought it looked fine, but
Yeah.
no, okay, then don't make me also do the work to solve your problem. Like,
Right.
I can
Yeah.
say,
It's
I
totally
mean,
fair.
every once in a while that I will say, I don't know what it is about this, but I don't like it.
Right.
Like, I mean, maybe it feels this, it feels that, and I'll try to put it into words. I'm like, I don't know what it is. If
Hmm.
you have an idea of why I don't like it, then
Yeah.
let me
That's a
know.
great way of framing that though. Like
Like, I can't tell
it's
you what it is.
I can't tell you how annoying in dealing with other people now when working on any kind of endeavor of them just saying, "Here's the problem." Like this happened to me at a totally different aside thing.
Hmm.
They were just telling me what the problem was, and I'm like waiting for your solution. Like I hear you, but like we've already talked through this with somebody else entirely who's in charge of this, and this is the solution they came up with. You're
Hmm.
only presenting your gripes. You're not telling me what your answer to the problem is, and you're also talking to the wrong
Hmm.
person entirely. But that's the thing, like
Hmm.
you if you want something, then present the answer at the same time.
With scheduling, we used to happen all the time. With Tara, I'd call Tara. I'm like, okay, here's the, and you do it really well now. It's like, okay, here's the
Hmm.
issue. We can't film on Friday now because I have
Okay.
this da 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 da. However,
However,
I've
yeah.
looked at it. I think we can do Tuesday. I can cut out blah blah. Do any of
Hmm.
these options work for you? And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes. But if you just come up and go, we can't film on Friday, then I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's a
Yeah. Now
disaster.
it's a new
But
game. Yeah, I wait. I've
okay.
learned to wait and not let my panic
Hmm.
drive my communication because my panic will drive communication when like, okay, wait, hold your communication for a second. So you quell your own panic feelings and find the answer first. And then because my younger self was always like, I'm in a panic and I don't know what to do with these panic feelings. Like I don't know how to metabolize these feelings by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's like I just had to learn it.
I mean, I think you can do that. There's room for that too, as long as it's not every single time. So if you
Oh yeah.
come with like, okay, look, I don't know
For
what the
sure.
answer is to this.
Right.
This is the issue we're running into. I have to do this. I have to do this. I don't have to do this. I don't know when there will be time to do this. And you go, okay, let's look at the schedule. I will be the calm person in the room for this moment. Like you can be the panicker. I mean, I'll get to be the panicker later. Right now, we'll
Yeah.
solve. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. All right. In this Natalientara how to tell you how to live a life corner.
Mhm.
All right, you and I do need to get a wiggle on with our lives because so much is going on. I gotta
I
go
had to
do
go
an
get a
edit.
performance review.
Oh, gross. Give?
Get.
Get.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have to go get a
worse.
performance review.
No part of performance review is fun.
I already know what I'm gonna get in trouble for. I don't
I don't. I
want.
know. I love my performance reviews. It's always like, all right, write me up.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Well, and I'm not getting written up for anything. It's a
oh, that's
quarterly,
good.
they're just everyone's gets their no,
Oh,
not like no, I didn't do anything wrong. I
yeah.
already know what they're gonna tell me I
What
need to
the?
improve. I know.
Also, you just write it down. And go. Here's what I think. Is this matching up? All right. Meeting's
But
adjourned.
it's like I already have the job and I have to do a job interview.
Hate it.
I
I
hate
hate
doing
it.
job
I
interviews.
don't like it. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like fun. All right, guys.
Anyway,
Thanks for joining us so much. Appreciate you guys in the credit cookie. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, stay sane. World's crazy. Be
Shannon
good to
says, "Is it
yourselves.
my attitude that needs to be adjusted?" Yes. No, it's not. I'm
Oh,
not
it's actually
selling enough
not.
wine club memberships. I already know what it is. They're gonna yell
I
at
was
me
like,
because
I
I haven't
guarantee
sold
it's
any
not your
wine club
attitude.
memberships.
Your attitude's safer behind the house.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. See you
All
guys
right.
next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.